Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Perfect trade Pittsburgh Steelers must complete after 2025 NFL free agency frenzy. The Pittsburgh Steelers approached the 2025 offseason with high aspirations and an aggressive strategy. They made significant moves in free agency to reshape their roster into a legitimate Super Bowl contender. However, despite their efforts, one glaring question remains: who is their long-term answer at quarterback? The Steelers have built a strong roster on both sides of the ball. That said, without a top-tier signal caller to lead the way, their free agency moves could ultimately fall short of expectations. With the NFL draft on the horizon, Pittsburgh must make a decisive move, either by acquiring a young quarterback with untapped potential or by trading up to land a franchise-altering talent. The Steelers' 2025 free agency and the DK Metcalf question. Você conhece Lincoln Electric? Você conhece Lincoln Electric? Plus de 125 anos de experiencia no mercado de soldagem fire investindo sempre em tecnologia e inovação, temos os melhores equipamentos e consumáveis para soldagem, que são utilizados nos principais mercados e segmentos industriais ao redor do mundo. Saludos para. Sponsored by Lincoln Electric Brazil. Learn more. The Steelers' front office was intent on locking in either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields before free agency. And yet, both deals fell through. Sure, it's possible Omar Khan never seriously pursued Wilson. Also, Fields made it clear he wanted to go elsewhere. Sam Darnold seemed like a logical fit for Pittsburgh, but the Steelers' decision-makers disagreed. Acquiring DK Metcalf in a bold trade was a strong statement. Additionally, adding veteran cornerback Darius Slay could prove beneficial if he still has enough in the tank. However, the next priority on the Steelers' agenda must be addressing the quarterback position and shoring up the offensive line. Their free agency spending spree also included key reinforcements on both fronts, signaling their intent to compete in a stacked AFC. Yet, the most pressing issue remains unresolved: who will be leading this team under center? Here we'll try to look at the perfect trade that the Pittsburgh Steelers must complete after the 2025 NFL free agency frenzy. Quarterback conundrum. The Steelers made one of the most significant moves of the offseason by trading for Metcalf and signing him to a massive $150 million contract. However, Pittsburgh still finds itself in quarterback limbo. As of now, the only quarterbacks under contract are Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Rodgers, at 41, and Wilson, at 36, are far from long-term solutions. That means the Steelers may have no choice but to look toward the draft. Prospects like Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe could be on their radar. Even if Pittsburgh manages to sign Rodgers, the team will still need to find a long-term successor to groom behind him. The 2025 draft class isn't considered particularly strong at the quarterback position, though. Still, that won't stop Mike Tomlin and his staff from identifying a developmental prospect who fits their system. At this point, no one truly knows who will start under center for the Steelers in 2025. If no major moves materialize, Rudolph will be the presumed starter. Should Rodgers opt to join Pittsburgh, he would become the clear-cut QB1. Rodgers has been seemingly hesitant to commit, though. This means the Steelers must explore alternative options to stabilize the most crucial position on the roster path to a quarterback upgrade. Holding the number 21 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft puts Pittsburgh in a difficult position. That's too low to land an elite quarterback prospect without trading up. Sure, there's always a chance that a promising passer falls to them. However, the Steelers cannot afford to bank on that possibility. Instead, the front office must consider two primary trade routes: acquiring a young quarterback already in the NFL or making an aggressive push up the draft board for a top-tier prospect. One intriguing target is Detroit Lions quarterback Hendon Hooker. Drafted in the third round of the 2023 NFL Draft, Hooker spent most of his rookie season recovering from injury. he has since served as Jared Goff's backup. The former Tennessee standout was once regarded as a high-upside talent before his draft stock took a hit due to injury. Now, he might be looking for an opportunity to start elsewhere. Yes, Hooker doesn't quite possess the same level of athleticism as former Steelers quarterback Justin Fields. That said, he offers mobility that Pittsburgh desperately needs. Before his injury, Hooker was one of college football's most dynamic dual-threat quarterbacks. He even produced better passing and rushing numbers than Fields. Many overlooked his potential due to his injury setback. Still, sitting behind Goff in Detroit may have been beneficial for his long-term development. Hooker has had time to refine his game in a stable environment. The Steelers could capitalize on his untapped potential. Enzo Flojo is an associate editor and sports writer at Clutch Points, covering the NBA, NFL, and NCAA football. He has bylines at Fox Sports Philippines and as a columnist at FIBA. Enzo also currently serves as an assistant coach for the Philippine national youth basketball team. Russell Wilson, wife Sierra T's exciting news on Monday. Russell Wilson has been making headlines of late as questions continue to surround his future with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 10-time Pro Bowl quarterback entered free agency after his one-year deal with the Steelers concluded at the end of the season. However, he has yet to come to terms on an extension with Pittsburgh as his future hangs in the balance. The Steelers don't seem to be in a rush to re-sign him either, with the team recently opting to host four-time AP MVP Aaron Rodgers on a free agent visit on Friday. At this point, however, Wilson is keeping calm and is instead focusing his energy on the things he can control. This includes his business ventures outside football. On Monday, the 36-year-old quarterback and his wife Sierra teased some exciting news about their apparel line 3 brand. Wilson took to Instagram to share 3 brand's announcement post about a new design pattern dropping soon. Based on the current designs available on their website, this new graffiti-style pattern is a fresh new look for their apparel. While it was not revealed how the brand intends to apply this new design, it's an exciting bit of news for fans who might be looking for a bit of a change of pace from 3 brand's usual style. According to the website, 3 brand was born out of Wilson's passion for sport, music, and fashion. Along with his Grammy Award-winning wife, the couple is committed to inspiring the next generation to chase their dreams with a why not you attitude. Kirk's Cousins seeking post-draft trade. March 24, 2025 at 11:04 p.m. Central Standard Time by Nickel Mehta. After a failed attempt to be released ahead of free agency, Kirk's Cousins is now in no rush to force a move out of Atlanta. He is planning to wait until after the draft before waiving his no-trade clause to facilitate a deal, per Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer. The Falcons held on to Cousins long enough for $10 million of his 2026 salary to vest into a full guarantee and have signaled their willingness to keep him as an expensive backup this season. He would prefer to find a starting job elsewhere, though he's wary of a repeat of last year's situation in Atlanta. The Falcons signed Cousins to a 4-year, $160 million deal in March and drafted Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick 6 weeks later. That put pressure on the 13-year veteran to live up to his contract while making it clear that he was not the team's long-term quarterback. When Cousins hit a patch of rough play in December, the Falcons benched him for Penix, effectively ending the 36-year-old's tenure in Atlanta after 14 games. In 2025, he doesn't want a highly drafted rookie breathing down his neck. That would be a risk with his 2 most likely suitors, the Browns and the Giants, who hold the 2nd and 3rd overall picks in April's draft. After years of instability under center, both teams have been repeatedly linked with the draft's top 2 quarterbacks, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Cousins' willingness to wait on a trade should work for his potential suitors. The Browns and the Giants can do their due diligence on Ward, Sanders, and even Jackson Dart and let the draft play out. The Steelers are considered a safe bet to land Aaron Rodgers, but if that doesn't work out, they could inquire about Cousins, according to Breer. However, Pittsburgh may want to see if a top quarterback falls within range of a trade up from the 21st overall pick. Cousins would only waive his no-trade clause prior to the draft if his new team commits to not using a first-round pick on quarterback, according to Breer. That condition may not be amenable to front offices in Cleveland and New York that are looking for a long-term franchise quarterback. It's possible that the Browns look at a talented roster besieged by injuries last year and decide that trading for Cousins and using the number 3 pick on an impact receiver or edge rusher is enough to compete in the AFC North. That doesn't seem likely for the Giants, who have more holes to fill on their roster. They have also signaled a desire to add another veteran and draft a quarterback in the first round, even after signing Jameis Winston. Cousins' approach does involve some risk. If the Browns, Giants, and Steelers all solidify their quarterback situations by the end of the draft, he may be left without any suitors headed into the summer. That would leave him stuck in Atlanta as Penix's backup with a $27.5 million salary that could be a barrier to a trade. The Falcons would already be absorbing $37.5 million in dead cap space, $12.5 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026, if they moved Cousins. Eating some or all of his 2025 salary would push their costs to $90 million for just 1 year and 14 starts from Cousins, a position Falcons owner Arthur Blank would prefer to avoid, according to Breer. That will, of course, impact how much draft compensation teams will give up to acquire Cousins. A trade out of Atlanta to a team with a starting job available remains his desired outcome, but it seems other dominoes will have to fall first. Are you a fan? What do you think of Kirk Cousins' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.